Very good morning, dear students. So, I welcome you to my beautiful class. Look at here. In our last period, we have dealt with where the mind is without fear, but some part was left. In that part or in that video lecture, we have seen the meaning of first few lines. Yes, along with the introduction of Rabindranath Tagore, the poet, and the introduction of this poem. And in this today's video lecture, we are going to see the meaning of remaining lines with the poetic devices. Okay, so look at here. In the very next line, the poet says, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. Understood the poem? Understood the lines? Now look at here. I am going to explain these lines one by one. So look at here in the very first line, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. In this line, the poet compares the logical thinking. The poet compares the logical thinking with the clear stream of reason. With the clear stream of reason and the harmful rituals, old traditional beliefs and superstitions are compared with the dreary desert sand of dead habit. Got it here? Look at here, you will find two comparisons. As we can say, metaphor is there in these two lines. Metaphor, the figure of speech is used here in these two lines, and here the poet has compared the logical thinking, rational thinking with, or rational thinking or logical thinking to the clear stream of reason. It is compared to logical thinking. While in the next line, the poet has compared the old traditional rituals, customs, superstitions that are harmful. So look at here, the meaning is given already. Old traditional rituals, customs and superstitions that are harmful for the society. So these are compared with the dreary desert sand of dead habit. By doing comparison of these, the poet praised God, saying that lead my people to the place, saying that lead my people to the place where the mind of every person, the mind of my countrymen, the mind of my countrymen should be with reasonable ability. Yes, reasoning ability means here the poet says that the reasoning ability of my countrymen, means the poet says or praise the God to take my people to the place where the reasoning ability of my countrymen should not be lost or should not be overshadowed by this dreary desert sand of dead habit. That means should not lost by superstitions, these rituals or customs that are harmful. Got it? So here the poet says that the reasoning ability of his countrymen should not be lost or overshadowed by the superstitious beliefs or the customs or rituals that are harmful. That means his countrymen should be led by rational thinking and not by the harmful beliefs or harmful rituals. Got it? Understood the meaning of these two lines? I repeat the meaning. Look at here. The poet has compared the clear stream of thinking with, or the poet has compared the logical thinking to the clear stream of reason. First one comparison is made there in this line, and in the second line you will find the poet has compared the old traditional rituals, customs and superstitions that are harmful to the dreary desert sand of dead habit. And by comparing them or doing comparison, the poet says that the reasoning ability of his countrymen should not be lost, should not be overshadowed by the superstitious beliefs, rituals or customs which are harmful. That means the poet wants to say or wants his people should have or should be led by rational thinking, scientific attitude, not by the harmful old traditional rituals. Understood here the meaning of this? Then in the next line, where the mind is led forward by the, it is an archaic English word. It means you. The means you. You can write down here the fourth one. The means you. Okay. So where the mind is led forward by you into ever widening thought and action. So here the poet again says that let my people be taken to the place where the mind of his countrymen, to be led forward by the Almighty, so that they could broaden their outlook, their thought, their views and their deeds, their actions. Got it? Look at there. What does the poet say? Where the mind is led forward by you into ever widening thought and action. Means here he says, take my people to the place, or make my country, or create such a place where the mind of my people would be led by you, into the place where they could have broadened mind, or where they could broaden their views, their mind, their thinking their, what you can say, their views, their opinions. Means here he says the people of his country should be generous in thought and actions. Got it? Understood? Look at here. Here he says, where the mind is laid forward by you into ever widening thought and action. Means simply you must say, the poet Rabindranath Tagore praised the God to lead his people or lead his countrymen into the place where they could broaden their thoughts, their actions. That means here he says, lead my people to the place where they could be open-minded and generous in thought and action. Got it? Understood? Then in the next line, into that heaven of freedom my father led my country away. In the last line of the poem, the poet addresses the God as his father. Addresses the God as his father, and calling the God his father, here he says, let my country awake. Awake. Let my country awake into the heaven of freedom. Into the heaven of freedom means lead my people, lead my countrymen to the place where there will be total freedom. Where there will be total freedom of good thoughts, good words and good deeds. Means where they are completely free to do good deeds, to speak good words, to think good thoughts. Yes, means lead my people or awaken my people to the place where they are or they would have total freedom of good thoughts, good deeds and good words. So at last he calls the God as his father and praise him or request him to lead his people to the place where there is the total freedom of good thoughts, good words and good deeds. Understood? Understood the meaning of poem? Understood? Do write the poem and the meanings. Then we will see the poetic devices. So now after the explanation of this poem, we are going to see the poetic devices which are used in this poem. Okay, so first we will see, before dealing with figures of speech, we will see the poem has been written in free verse. The poem has been written in free verse. As we know that question is there in appreciation. The rhyme scheme. What is the rhyme scheme in this poem? So here this poem has no rhyme scheme. It does not follow any. It does not follow any pattern. The pattern of meter means there is no particular rhythm, there is no particular rhyme scheme. So it means it is written in reverse. And how will you identify? If you find particular one line is long one, another one is short one, then again long short. So such poems are, you can say that, written in free verse. Got it? So this poem is written in free verse. Secondly, we are going to see the figures of speech. So first one figure of speech which is used here is alliteration. Alliteration is the figure of speech which has been used here prominently. So what is alliteration? Alliteration means when a particular initial sound is repeated, initial sound of word is repeated in the line, that figure of speech is called alliteration. Look at there in the first one line, where the mind is without fear and head is held high. So look at there in this line, where, without, where, sound. Which sound? V sound. In where and without. Hey, her, head, her, high, her, and her sound. The V and her sound is repeated. V and her sound is repeated. So by this we can say this is alliteration. So there are many examples of alliteration in this poem. Look at there another example, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection. Where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection. Yes, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection. Look at here again, tireless towards sound is repeated, striving stretches and sound is repeated. Yes, again another example you can see, into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. Look at here, dreary, the desert, the dead, the sound is repeated. So if you find such initial sounds are repeated in the line, it is called alliteration. Got it? So you have to find out the remaining examples of alliteration in this poem. Got it? So this is about alliteration. Do write fast. Then we will see another one, personification. The second one figure of speech which has been used here is personification. Personification means what? When the human quality is attributed to the non-human or inanimate objects. So this type of figure of speech is called personification. Look at there, I said human qualities. when human qualities are attributed to non-human. This is called personification. So here, look at there, two qualities or two examples are given here. The first one is where tireless striving, where tireless striving stretches its arms. Okay, so look at there, the human quality of stretching hands. The human quality of stretching hands is attributed to tireless striving, and tireless striving is non-human. Yes, it is an abstract idea, striving. So the human quality of stretching hands or arms is attributed to this striving, an abstract idea. Striving is an abstract idea. So this will be called personification. Understood? Striving is an abstract idea that we cannot see nor touch, just we feel. And stretches, that means stretching arms like this. It is human quality. So, do striving has hands? No. But the stretching arms, the human quality has been attributed to striving. And that's why this is personification. Yes, look at the explanation. You can write like this. Here, the tireless striving has been given the human quality of stretching arms. The human quality of stretching arms is attributed or given to the tireless striving, and that's why it is personification. Got it? Then another example you have to identify. Got it? Another, only two examples of personification is given here. First one is already done. Second one you have to identify. Got it? Then write down fast. Then the third one, figure of speech, we will see. That is anaphora. Anaphora. Okay. Anaphora means what? Anaphora means when the beginning word or words of a line is repeated in the next lines at the beginning. Got it? When the beginning word or words of a line is repeated in the next clauses or next lines at the beginning, that figure of speech is called anaphora. So look at there, the lines of the poem. In first three lines you will find where, throughout the poem you will find where this word is repeated at the beginning, where the mind is without fear. Then again, next line, what is that? Where knowledge is free, where the word has not been broken into fragments, where word come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms, where the clear stream of reason, where and then into. So there are two examples. First one is where and the second one is into. So where the word is repeated in the lines at the beginning. At the beginning, no need to write down. just write down in the lines where the word is repeated in the lines. Got it? And that's why it is anaphora. So you can say in this poem there is anaphora. Okay. At last, another figure of speech is given here. And what is that? It is metaphor. As I told you about metaphor. Yes, metaphor is already given there. When we have seen the example of the clear stream of reason and dreary desert sand of dead habit. So in these two lines, metaphor is there. Another figure of speech used there is metaphor. Yes, and what is metaphor? When you compare or when you do comparison between two things of different types. Yes, so that is called metaphor. So look at there. In clear stream of reason, here reason has been implicitly compared. Look at there. Clear, first one example, clear stream of reason. Clear stream of reason. In this you will find here logical thinking. Yes, here the clear stream has been compared, or the logical thinking or reason is implicitly means indirectly compared to the clear reason or clear stream. Means simply you can say here reason has been implicitly compared to the clear stream. Yes, so here reason has been implicitly compared to the clear stream. That we have seen in the meaning. Logical thinking, yes, reasoning ability is compared to the clear stream of reason. Yes, clear stream, and you know better the meaning of stream. Stream is a kind of river. So that clear river, fresh water of that river is compared to the logical thinking. Yes, that reason, and that's why it is metaphor. Got it? Another example is again given there. That is dreary desert sand of dead habit. It is compared to, yes, old traditional rituals, customs, superstitions that are harmful indirectly, and that's why it is also another example of metaphor. So this way, these are the figures of speech which have been used here in this poem. Got it? Do write fast. Do write fast. Be quick. In our next video lecture, we are going to see how to write down an appreciation of the poem that is asked in the board examination for 5 marks. Okay, some 5 or 6 points are there. So with the help of these 4 or 6 points, we have to write down critical appreciation. Got it? So write it down and see you in our next video lecture. I hope you enjoyed this class. Bye bye.